Hey guys, so let's get into part 3 of Celpip Reading, where you're reading for information and you are matching your paragraph to the question. So this part of Celpip Reading, it's hard and a lot of people find it difficult. So this video might take longer than usual. Normally, I like to do my practice using the same time frame that Celpip exam use. However, because I need to explain this particular strategy very well, I will not be following the time frame. Although I've actually done it under time condition, and whenever I use this strategy, I either get 9/9 on the questions or I get 8/9. So trust me, it's a proven strategy that works. So I'm going to be taking my time to explain it thoroughly. So I may not be following the time on the computer so that you understand how I am applying this strategy in this part of Celpip, which a whole lot of you people have sent me DM, have dropped comments about. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube and like and share to anybody that knows that need the video. Before we get into the video, I want you to get a pen and paper with you, just like the one they'll give you in an exam. Get a sheet of paper and get a pen, and then I will tell you what to do with it in the video. So when my task 3 starts, the first thing I do is to skim through my passage, and the way I do that is to read the first sentence of each paragraph and also the last sentence in the paragraph. And why, after reading it, the next thing I do after reading the first sentence, I take out like 2 keywords from the first sentence, jot them down on that paper that I have, and then I also go to my last sentence, I read it, and then I pick out 2 keywords, write them down, and then I'll tag that place A, and then I proceed to paragraph 2. And in the paragraph, I also start skimming by reading the first sentence and also picking out my keywords. I pick 2 keywords, I write them down, and after writing them down, I go to the last sentence, I read it, and I pick up a keyword. The keyword I picked here, I just picked one, that's blindness. So you can pick shattered grass too if you want, but I picked only blindness. I write that down and I move to the next one, the paragraph 2, the paragraph C, and I read it. I pick up my keywords. Here, the keyword I picked up was relief effort, hampered, and then I also saw blizzard. So any word that I'm not familiar with that sounds like high vocabulary, I also pick it up. So I wrote it down. And then I quickly move to my last sentence. Please note that you can use abbreviation. Use abbreviation wherever necessary that you can. And I read the last sentence in paragraph C. I picked up my keyword, which is Nova Scotia Christmas tree. I wrote Nova Scotia Christmas tree. That was what I wrote down here. And I moved to the last paragraph, did the same thing for the first sentence. Here, I picked up emergency preparedness and urban planning. So, and I write it down, go to the last sentence of this particular paragraph, also read it. I picked up Memorial Tower here and 1985. Whenever I say like dates, I always pick it or write it down alongside whatever word I pick. So because sometimes they ask about dates, so always make sure you write dates. So now that I have finished, I go into my question. Because I have already written down certain things, I may not really need to go back to my passage to answer my question. So when I read this question now, I already know that my option is in paragraph C because I have relief effort, which is the same as rescue operation, right? So I didn't bother to go to the passage. For the second question, I read it and then I picked B because I wrote blindness down, and eyesight, loss of eyesight, is the same thing as blindness. So I didn't need to go back to my passage. So for the paragraph C, I read it because I know I wrote down French vessel, but I didn't write anything about explosive. I go there, read the sentences around that French cargo that I wrote down, and I see that, oh, that's the correct answer. There is an explosive that it carried. So I picked my A. That was how I picked it. The next one, I know I didn't read anything about captain, so I go with E first. I go with not giving because I didn't, anything I read, those things I read, I didn't see. I go with E first. Instead of leaving it, I go with E. And when I read the fifth question, because I saw reconstructed area design, I know I read urban planning, and planning has to do with maybe designing and construction. So I just go to that paragraph and start reading it and start searching with for reconstruction. I didn't read from beginning, I just start searching for reconstruction. When I got there, I read the sentences around it and I picked my option. Then for question 6, I don't have anything on neighborhood. First of all, I picked E. I have an idea though, but I decided to pick E because I wasn't so sure of it. So I picked E because the rule is that I must not leave any question unanswered at any point in time. So I answered that and proceed to the next question. Read it. I know I didn't read anything about that because I read 1917, but what I read was when the detonation happened. I put it down. What I had in my jotting was 1917 French collision. So I knew that was what happened, not what they were talking about here. So I picked not given again. So I go to the next question and I read this. That's question 8. I know I read something about that and I have it down on my paper. So I go to the paragraph C, I read it again and I see, yes, that's correct. And I picked my paragraph C. And for the last one, I read the question and I picked urban advancement in urban design and crisis readiness. I have emergency preparedness and urban planning, just like in passage in my jotting. So I knew that was where it is. It means the same thing. I picked it. And then I go back to, because why I do this, my strategy always helped me to have more time after doing this thing. So I go to those places I picked E that I didn't confirm well. I start using the keyword. For instance, this one now, I started searching for captain all over my passage fast. I was just searching. I wasn't reading line by line, searching for the word captain or anything that has to relate with captain, and I didn't see. So after searching all through and I didn't see it, it made me know that I was correct and that it wasn't given. So I leave that out. So I also go to the next question that I picked E, that I didn't confirm, picked neighborhood, although I told you I have an idea before. So I already know what is in paragraph A, that there is nothing about neighborhood there. So I started searching from my paragraph B, and I was searching line by line until I saw neighborhood, and I read the sentences around there, and that confirmed my answer. I went to change it to B, you see. For the next question that I had not given, I picked my keyword, which is 1917. I go to where I have 1917, run through the paragraph, and I see that nothing like that said what is in the question. So I left it as not given, and then I submitted, and this is what I have. And for every question, I apply this strategy. I always have 8/9 or 9/9. So try. So this is what my jottings look like from each paragraph. I write the keywords and I write the paragraph A, and then I write the keywords I pick from each of them, right? And because I write the ones on the first sentence on top, I write the one from the last sentence I read below it, and then I write paragraph B, and then I write the keyword of the first sentence on top, I write the keyword of the second sentence underneath. So I do that very fast, right? And that helped me in answering most of the question without having to refer back to the passage. When I read the question, I know, oh, this is the answer. And then the ones that I cannot really get directly from what I noted down, I would go to the particular area where I guess that they may be located and read the sentences around there, or I use my scanning to quickly find a keyword in that question. So when I use my scanning to find the keywords in that question, when I reach where the keyword is, I will now start reading. So make sure that you are not wasting so much time to pick your answer. It's better to prepare well and answer your questions fast than not knowing where to locate your paragraph. Because the reason why I do this is that while you are skimming through your passage initially, you forget where you found what. So because I wrote them down, I do not have to forget again.